Last planner, sticky notes. In this video, I'm going to cover the question, what are these sticky notes for? Are they just decoration? Are they one of the most powerful tools in lean construction? Why do I see them everywhere? And how do they work and what do we use them for? So if you're ready for that, let's go, because I'm super excited to talk to you about this. Sticky notes. I'm going to distill this down in the best possible way that I know how. Sticky notes on a wall are a celebration of visual systems that allow total participation. In lean construction, let me just tell you that even though it doesn't sound humble, I really do believe I'm right about this. Lean in construction, if you were going to look at it in a couple of different categories, is respect for people and resources, stability, using the 5S system and identifying the 8 wastes, and overburden and unevenness and taking corrective action to create stability, working in one piece or one process flow, flowing together on attack time, and now here's where it gets inspired. I hope you're staying with me. Total participation using visual systems, and only after that being able to focus on a quality product and continuous improvement. We cannot ever be lean if we do not have visual systems. So stickies are fun, colorful, visual, and they get human beings interacting with each other, because most breakdowns in lean, or meaning because you don't have lean, are because it's a communication breakdown and you can't visualize it. In fact, my favorite saying of all leandom is see as a group, know as a group, act as a group. The sticky notes that you see are simply human beings going back to visual environments. See, this is what happened. And I want you to know that I am pro technology. I am AutoCAD certified, Revit certified. They don't have it for Navisworks or Synchro, but I would have been certified in those. I know pretty much any program that you would want. I could type it, do it right now. I can go create a primary control file. I can model a building in Revit today. I love these applications. But we went from building things in styrofoam, meaning like back when I was young, before the BIM revolution, superintendents built the whole project out of styrofoam to visualize it. Then we went into 3D. Everything's now hidden into computers. It hurt the builder's mindset because now they're not seeing it in 3D, and we're getting away from visual systems. And now lean is saying come back to visual systems. The stickies are there for a specific purpose, and most of the time it's to create a sequence for a pull plan. Some other times it's for Scrum, where you have backlog and then your sprint backlog in progress and done. Some other times it's simply for brainstorming, but it's all about visualizing as a group to encourage total participation. Now, I've talked about this before. We always compliment Japan for lean, but Japan learned most of this from the United States, but they really adopted it because of the concept of total participation, right? Sometimes, like I'll just give you an example, and I love the United States. I'm not being too critical. I was in Atlanta, got off the plane, and I swear to you, and there was some renovations, so I understand it, I had to guess to find baggage claim. There were no signs. You go out into the States at different times, you're like, I have no idea what's going on here. You go to Japan, everything is visual, everything is marked, everything is clear, everything is focused around this concept of total participation. So stickies are visual systems that encourage total participation. But let me go ahead and answer a couple of questions here that people give that I think you're going to love. Number one, what is the last planner system and why do we use sticky notes? The last planner system is a system where you have a collaborative effort with the trade foreman that has certain meetings with those trade foremen and certain deliverables that those trade foremen use. And the deliverables that are used are the master schedule, then a pull plan to specific milestones where you use stickies, and then you create a production plan intact. Then you filter out a look ahead, weekly work plan, and day plan. Some people use stickies for the look ahead and day plan. I wouldn't recommend it. Stickies are mainly for the pull plan. And those meetings are these. You have at least 3 to make lean construction work. 1 meeting every week to do look ahead planning and weekly work planning. And also you can either do your pull planning there or as an ad hoc. The second meeting is your afternoon foreman huddle, where you utilize your weekly work plan to install the next day. And the third is the worker huddle, where you communicate the plan to the workers. And so the stickies are mainly for the pull plan. And the last planner system is basically scaling all the planning from first planners to last planners so that it gets communicated all the way to the field. Who fills out these sticky notes? In a brainstorm, the people brainstorming. In Scrum, the development team or the actual Scrum team. In Last Planner, it's the foreman if you're using physical stickies, but again, I prefer always to, even if it's in person, to have a mural board digitally and to have stickies on the digital whiteboard, even with people talking to them, and having a facilitator place the stickies according to the direction of the trades. If you have the trades fill out the stickies, you won't be able to see or understand most of their handwriting, and the purpose will be diminished. See, this is the problem that I have. People are like, oh, it has to be physical stickies. No, it doesn't. The purpose of stickies is visual communication. And if you can't read their handwriting, then the sticky is worthless. And so I love stickies, but I love digital stickies even more. The third question is, how does this affect sequencing on site? Well, if you have a master schedule phase with a milestone and then you pull plan it, then that pull plan with the colored stickies allows everybody to see exactly how work is going to flow. And then you take that and you compare it zone by zone all the way through the phase, and you can see how you flow in the diagonal as well. And so the way it affects sequencing is it perfects it. It creates reliable commitments. That's what Last Planner is all about. In the pull plan, the look ahead, and the weekly work plan, so that trades are committing and more engaged in carrying out their commitments than in any other circumstance. Fourth question, can this system replace other scheduling systems? Absolutely. CPM scheduling is one of the worst things that has ever happened to the construction industry ever. And so TACT as your master schedule with Last Planner attached to it, or you can call it TACT and TACT steering and control, or you can be say like, hey, the Last Planner system, and because it's the Last Planner system, our master schedule is TACT, and you can call it all Last Planner. The answer is yes, and it should replace CPM because every single aspect of CPM will hurt you and your project. In fact, if you want to check that out, it's in a book called The 10 Myths of CPM. And what do I do when our tasks get pushed or delayed? That's a fantastic question. First of all, in a pull plan, you should be gaining time so you have buffers to absorb impacts and delays. But the answer is you might have to delay a little bit and then you keep in rhythm and keep going together. In the book, TACT Steering and Control, you will see many options for how you handle a delay. And there's also problem-solving boards and posters that you can put up on your wall that I will link you to in the description below. But the bottom line is the stickies are visual systems to gain total participation so that we're not doing this command and control siloed scheduling effort. We're scheduling and working as a team, which is the most effective way to do it. Last thing that I'll say, the most recent study for this shows that projects with a high implementation of lean systems are 3 times as likely to be successful than traditional methods. And people out there that are like, oh, Jason's bashing on CPM, but it's great. The only studies that exist about CPM show that critical chain project management and Last Planner are over 40% more effective than CPM. Look at the data. This is real stuff, and I hope you enjoy the stickies. It's not all about stickies. And in fact, if you ever see a Last Planner effort where it's just a pull plan and stickies, they're missing the flow of the master schedule, they're missing the make-ready schedule, they're missing the commitments in the weekly work plan, and they're missing the day plan and the worker huddle. But if you do have the stickies, it's at least a start. Pull planning won't solve all your problems, but it will head you in the right direction. I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.